Good afternoon, Meena-san. I don't know. Since we are a small group, we would make it as interactive as possible. My name is Kavya, and I will be your host for this presentation. So I don't know if I would bore you enough, or would that be interesting. But you could stop me anytime if you feel I'm going too fast or too slow. So to begin with, we would like to start with an activity. So maybe could you just tell me one thing that you would like to improve in yourself or maybe in your life currently? And I have put up an example here that maybe John wants to be better at time management. And if I give my example, then I would like to improve my consistency, forming the habits and consistently managing those habits and following those habits in my daily routine is something that I'm lacking behind. So I would like to improve in that sense. So could anyone just go first and tell me what is the one thing that you would like to improve?
So for me, it's avoiding procrastination.
And for me, it's time management only.
How about Swarali-san?
I think for me also it's avoiding procrastination and time management. Same.
So to begin with, what does Kaizen mean? Maybe what is Kaizen to you? If anybody could tell me, not the exact definition thing, but maybe whatever Kaizen means to you in simple words.
I don't know much about it, but as I can read, here it's written change good. I guess it means having a positive change in your lifestyle which can impact your in a good way.
Absolutely. So to just compile the point, I would say that Kaizen is a Japanese philosophy which has its own origin in her language. And if we roughly translate it into English, maybe it means that change for better. But in our everyday life, we do not translate it into English and we just use the word Kaizen itself. But Kaizen sees improvement in gradual, in methodological process. It is a very small step process. It's not like, okay, I'm here, I directly want to go over here. We take small steps to reach our goal, maybe for business, maybe for our own personal life, but anything it could be. But it should be gradual and it should be a methodological process which involves small steps. So, how did Kaizen evolve? So, I have tried to prepare a timeline with the evolution of Kaizen. And if we go back to 1939, where World War II, to World War II, then Kaizen was basically first seen in Japanese business after World War II, when the whole income of Japan and the economy of Japan was drained by United States forces, and it was then influenced and redeveloped by Masahi Imai, who modified the philosophy of Kaizen, gave the actual definition. And I would just put a link over here to his organization. He's an organizational psychologist and a theorist who runs the Global Kaizen Institute in the United States. And in 1945, United States adopted Kaizen in their daily business. It was adopted by quality management teachers um, to maybe modify their economy, to modify their business philosophy. So it was seen as a part of Toyota way. And then now we see the global spread worldwide of Kaizen, that everywhere, in every single place, maybe in our personal life, maybe in any small startup or any big MNCs, we see the philosophy of Kaizen being used. So, any questions so far, or should I go ahead?
What they teach you in the Kaizen Institute?
Okay, so they help you redevelop your brain, they help you restructure your life, and just I would just put a link over here. you would like to see. So he's an organizational psychologist who helps, who life coaches people, who helps people reach their maximum level of potential, who helps them unfold their inner potential so that they could reach their highest level of goals, so that they know their own strengths, they know their own weaknesses, and then they could work on their weaknesses and they could modify their strengths, they could strengthen their own strengths, and just expand their business or expand their personal life goals. So here's a link to his organization which he started. So if you could go through his organization, it's a very detailed summary of how the Kaizen Institute in the United States work.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. So then we would be wondering, but then what are the core principles of Kaizen? Maybe how we can implement Kaizen in our own day-to-day life, in our own day-to-day work life. Then Kaizen has a strong emphasis to balance between the two, the work life and the personal life. So here's the interconnection between the philosophies that are being taught in business life and that are being taught in the personal life. So if we intersect both the philosophies and study the core principles of Kaizen, then the core principles would be like quality circles. And what do I mean by quality circles? So if I say in work sense, a quality circle would be like a small group of similar types of worker, maybe who work in one same department, and they identify where is their department lacking in, what they could work ahead, and how they could solve their work related problems. And they meet every day or maybe twice a day, and they see how is the progress of everybody, what is the thing that is not happening good at the company, what is the thing that we could develop in our department, should we hire a new team, what is the current status of the team, what are team workers progress. So quality circles, by that I mean that we should have a small group where we could discuss our day-to-day progress in our work life. But if I say quality circle in our personal life, then Japan has its own emphasis and has a strong culture that after work, after a stressful day at work, they would meet their friends, hang out with them. And so they have an emphasis of developing a small group of quality friends whom you could share maybe your confidences with, and whom you could rely maybe even at 3 a.m. So by quality circles, I mean that. And we could maybe have a small group of those friends. We could just ask any one of our friend that what did I make a mistake today, what are the improvements that I should be doing according to you, what do you think that my biggest strength is. So sometimes we don't know our own strengths. So if someone else could tell us that, okay, do you know you're really good at this? So we would be like, okay, yes, I think I should work on this more to make it my superpower. So we should be constantly asking for improvement. We should constantly be asking for feedbacks. What went wrong? What should we improve? What should we work on? How would you rate this report out of 10? If it is 7, then how could I make it 10 on 10? What should I be doing? What are my next steps? So suggestions, there should be continuous process for suggestions, and we should take the suggestions, the criticisms very positively, and we should work on that. And we should moreover have a personal discipline in our own selves. It could be like, I have to call my friend at 7 by today, then I have to call him. That's my personal discipline. That's my regularity. So I would not be like, okay, I forgot. I would make an excuse. But no, I am disciplined that I would do this. I would be on my word. I have to wake up tomorrow early. So I would wake up early tomorrow. I won't be like my alarm didn't work or I was too sleepy. But I have to develop this concept of personal discipline within me to achieve my goals maximally. So The Kaizen even focuses on being transparent. Whatever you say is whatever you do. It's about being teamwork. It's about being doing teamwork. So if we do teamwork, we would be like, okay, I have to write 20 pages. If I have a group of 10 people with me, then I just have to write 2 pages. So it saves a huge time of us. So teamwork is really necessary if we talk about our personal life or if we talk about our work life. So Kaizen really focuses on the strategy of teamwork, and to build the culture of teamwork within our own selves and within our own company or the place that we are working in. Any questions or anything where I went too fast?
No, no, it was brief and good.
Yeah.
So the next question would be then, what are the fundamental principles of implementing Kaizen? So the first thing that even a psychologist, a humanistic psychologist, said in his theory, that we should be knowing our own selves. And if I talk about in Shakespeare's language, then it's to know thyself and love thyself. So we should be knowing our own body sensations. What are we feeling currently? Am I angry right now? Am I able to identify that I'm angry? Am I able to control my own feelings, my own emotions? Am I able to rectify my mistakes? Am I able to know myself? What am I feeling? What did I go wrong with? So it's about just knowing yourself from every corner. And Japanese philosophies and Japanese culture, we see a lot of people use this word, let it be like water. So Japanese people have a lot of emphasis on going with the flow, or let it be like the things are. Don't focusing Not focusing too much on future and not on past, but to be here in the present. So I don't know, I'm not sure, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, that Japanese people in their grammatical rules don't have future tense at all. So they just emphasize on staying in the present, being here, and fulfilling everything that needs to be done today and only today. And it's like, if you become a leader, then your duty is to make more leaders. That's what's make a leader more powerful. It's to empower the people. It's to spread your own learning, your sharing your thoughts and asking others what do they think about it. Are they thinking right? What suggestions do they have, or how in their opinion should we be thinking differently? For instance, I have one idea that, okay, I read this book and it was really interesting. That I would just call up my friend and say, I read this book. How do you think about it? What are your thoughts about the book? So it's to share your own learnings. It's to empower the people. It's to make better leaders in the world today. Any questions?
No, but like you said, let it be flow. I have heard one Japanese quote on it that you can't dive twice in the same water. That matched with this.
Okay. Could you briefly explain by that saying?
By that saying is water, like for an example, consider a river, and water is constantly flowing in the downstream. You cannot dive in the same water, because once you dive, that water will be gone ahead of it. Nah, you can't catch up with that water. So according to that, you cannot be in the same position, in the same opportunity twice. Like for example, think of it as an condition in anime, where you have watched it once and experiences it once, and that first time was the original time when you feel like, wow, it was a great scene. But when you are watching it for second time, it's like, I watched it, it's fine. Like you cannot express that same emotion, that same original form twice. It's impossible, because it got into you. So it's like you cannot dive in the same water twice.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Yeah. So I forgot, I'm sorry, to explain go to Gamba. So Imahi Sensei gave this term go to Gamba, which means to be currently actually seeing that where are you standing currently and where do you want to go. It's about knowing about your own current situation. For instance, my exams are coming next month and I have to be knowing which is my current situation, what's my test prep at this point of time, what should I be working on, what's my next task list. So where I am standing and where I want to go, the gap between them is going to the Gamba, and to maybe just fulfill it. And yes. So any questions? Going to Gamba or go to Gamba, for go to Gamba?
What's the meaning of the word Gamba? Yes.
It means to know the current situation, know the current state of your situation.
Okay.
Any questions? Okay. To move ahead, let's watch one video on Kaizen to just briefly summarize what we have discussed and what we would discuss ahead. So let me just share my screen. Is the video visible?
No, the PPT screen is visible.
Now?
Yeah.
And the audio?
Yeah, perfectly fine.
Achieving your biggest goals using
Achieving
the
your
Kaizen
biggest
philosophy.
goals using the Kaizen
John is struggling
philosophy.
with conversations.
John is
He
struggling
attended
with
a dinner party at
conversations.
his friend's
He
house,
attended
and
a
as the
dinner
drinks
party at
kept
his
flowing,
friend's-
the discussion became more heated.
The discussion became more heated.
Kaizen, can you mute your microphone? The audio is doubling.
Yes.
However, John has been unable to contribute any more than a because he did not have anything to say. He is very proud of his intellectual prowess and ability to trump arguments, and so today left his ego pretty bruised. So, John has decided to reintroduce the habit of reading. He used to be aware of all current events, but the day's discussion left him wondering what rock he has been living under lately. In today's video, we're talking about Kaizen, the Japanese philosophy that means to become good through change. Contrary to what is peddled, overnight success only happens when you win the lottery. Realizing your goals, if they aren't lottery related, takes time and continuous improvement. The question we answer today is, how can you achieve massive goals using the Kaizen approach? The Kaizen approach. How old are you? Are you an employee struggling to get to that next promotion? Is it your final year in university and you're hoping and working hard for a fulfilling career ahead? Or maybe you've just had your first child and are already thinking of a college fund for him or her. The Kaizen approach starts when you answer the question, what are your goals? A teenager's goal could be to go to Harvard University, since he or she wants to be a big shot lawyer. For you, financial freedom at 40 years of age is the dream. The goal of a 9-month-old baby could be to stand on their own 2 feet without their parents' help. A goal defines a point in the future that you in the present would like to achieve. The next step is to create a system through which you will be able to achieve this goal. John wants to get back to his old argumentative self, in his ideal future, his friends listening to him in awe because of the points he contributes to discussions. The difference John has to cater for is knowledge on everything that is happening currently. For this video, a system is defined as the combination of behaviors that are done regularly and feed into a goal. Thus, John has therefore developed a system of reading books on current issues to achieve his objective. After World War II, Kaizen was developed in a bid to eliminate waste and increase efficiency in industrial processes. This was done by introducing small, positive changes into these processes to lead to an eventual increase in quality of the products. A system for achieving a goal is the equivalent of an industrial process. For John to utilize this philosophy, he needs to break down his system of reading books on current events into its smallest form, reading 2 pages every day. Reading 2 pages of a book a day will encounter the least resistance from John as compared to 20 pages of the same. Positive changes are then introduced to this system. On the first day, John reads 2 pages. On the third day, he scales it up to 4 pages and to 5 on the 7th day. This system is improved daily until it becomes a habit that will lead to the achievement of the goal. Procrastination and an inability to achieve goals arise when you are so entirely focused on the goal that you forget the process of getting there. Comparing the small progress we are making and the massive goal that is ahead of us may trick our brain into thinking that we aren't doing anything or getting anywhere. Kaizen understands that eventual gains arise from systems, and by improving how we use our time, effort, and smarts in the process, we will get our desired results. If the story of the hare and the tortoise is anything to go by, slow and steady does win the race. What about when you are backtracking? Kaizen works on improving systems that are already in place or have been introduced. It is for this reason that it has contributed to the success of companies like Toyota and Canon. However, it becomes a little tricky when the philosophy is used by human beings because of our emotional nature. What happens when we are no longer energetic, ambitious, and excited about our new goals? Is Kaizen useful when you are down, lethargic, or when you simply revert to your old habits? It is important to understand that this philosophy is about eventual positive improvement and the development of good habits. Developing a habit is like building muscle from working out over a period. When you miss strength training for 3 sessions, the muscle you built over 6 months is unlikely to dissipate into thin air. If you're going through a rough patch, don't be frustrated and give up. For a while now, Brian has been failing at his goal of sleeping for at least 7 hours a night. When you look closely, however, you will note 3 years ago, he was sleeping for barely 3 hours every day. Currently, he sleeps for between 4 and 5 hours a night. While he may not have achieved his ultimate goal, the progress he has made is undeniable. And that is the greatest strength that the philosophy of Kaizen has: constant progress. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. And
Oh, so what are everybody's thoughts on this? Anybody?
I guess having a little improvement is good. That's what pop up in my mind other than anything.
Absolutely.
It really emphasizes how the small steps we take can lead up to something bigger. Like every drop makes the ocean.
Oh, yeah. Yes. To continue, so what is the strategy? Now we come to how can we actually start implementing Kaizen. So Kaizen has a very simple strategy that we could use. It's known as PDCA as acronym. So the first step to do is to plan what you want to achieve and why you want to achieve that goal. It's to set the goals that, okay, for instance, I want to go to Japan by 2025. So that's my plan. But here what's important is we need to set the deadlines to our goals. For example, I want to go to Japan is just a vague statement, but I want to go to Japan by 2025 is the emphasis of Kaizen that they suggest us that if you set the deadline, our subconscious mind will make the reality happen, make our goals, make our dreams come true. It would have a conflict within the subconscious mind and the conscious mind that, okay, something is not right with the reality. I want to get this, but I don't know how to get this. So if you set the deadlines that by 2025, so our subconscious mind would definitely be working that, okay, we have to make, we actually start doing the things. For instance, we make a action plan that, okay, my 1 month goal is to learn basic hiragana, katakana, and basic 50 kanjis of Japanese. Then my 3-month goal is to be fluent in the basic Japanese conversation. My 6-month goal could look maybe to go into intermediate Japanese conversations and kanjis as I want to travel. And my 1-year goal could be actually finalizing the budget that I have to go to Japan, or to find any organizations or foundations that could help me go to an exchange to Japan. So it's to plan and then to do. And then comes the third step, check my me I here I mean to monitor your progress. That 1 month previously I was here, right now I'm here, so I'm making good progress. And after 3 months I want to be here, so after maybe 4 months I would be again checking, I would be again check my calendar or my goal tracker to see where am I standing. So here an important tool that we could use could be a habit tracker or our goal achiever sheet that we could be constantly keeping by our side to monitor our progress. And then it is simply to just act and not be afraid of the risk, and just let it happen, give it a shot and try whatever it is, because at the end if you don't try you won't achieve. So it's definitely worth giving it a try. That's what Kaizen teaches us. Any questions?
No.
Okay, so let's have another activity. Could anyone just tell me how we could apply Kaizen in our personal life? Maybe John wants to use Kaizen by taking small steps to improve his speaking skills. So that's just an example. Could anyone tell me how we could implement Kaizen in our personal life?
Uh, I am a computer science student, so I will tell you related to that. Uh, for an instant, if I think that I want to do a job in a Google and I want to be a software developer, but the way I can implement Kaizen in my life is to practice the code, the small code daily, or or review my past code like on the regular basis to improve my memory or to improve the idea of that, yeah, I can change it in this way. By this way I can use the Kaizen.
Oh, okay. That's thoughtful. If I give my example, then it would be like learning more technology, which could help me save time, and it could organize the documents into one platform. So I would use Kaizen in my personal life in that sense. Anyone else? Pooja-san, Shyam-san, Swarali-san.
For me, I think for learning Japanese especially, one way to apply Kaizen would be to learn several kanji every day and practice kanji every day to improve your knowledge and memory of those characters.
Okay. Okay. To move ahead, then what are the principles of Kaizen in our personal life? So, the emphasis that Kaizen teaches us is to strive, is to be hungry for continuous improvement. It could be like, okay, I'm working in an office and I want to learn more from my seniors. Then I would actually be sitting in my office for late hours and be learning from my seniors that what are they doing, how is the work at a senior position, or something similar. And it's to always ask the status quo, that what is my current state, where am I standing now, where I would go, why am I willing to do this thing, what would I get if I do this thing. So it's to strongly emphasize on why I am doing this right now, what would I get if I do it, or what would I lose if I don't do it, or what would I lose if I just take the risk, I give it a shot and open my startup. What losses would I be having if I do it? and it's to not make excuses and finding time for everything in our life. For instance, I have to go to jogging in the evening, so I would schedule my day in such a way that I find time for myself to just go for jogging and not to find excuses. Oh, I was too lazy today. Oh, I'm not feeling well today. No, we have to do every day. We have to keep, and no matter what attitude, I will do this under any circumstances. Let it happen. I'm going to do it. Uh, any questions? Any points that I could clarify for?
I guess it was to the point. It was good.
Okay. Uh, I have one another question. Then how we could apply Kaizen to our work life? If I give an examples to start with, then I would learn more skills about maybe coding. If I want to create a website, then I would be learning coding. I would be learning HTML to design a website. So that could be like, okay, first step, as Ankit san mentioned, to code every day, then to practice one or two small codes, or I could just take help of anybody to help me learn from them. And then I would watch the videos continuously. I would see how is it going, where am I lacking, what coding strategy should I be involved in, should I be using C plus, C, Java, or Python. I'm not a too computer person, but yes, could anyone give an example of how we could apply Kaizen in our work life?
I guess my example about the coding, I can correlate it with this.
Okay.
I think to improve yourself in your workplace, one thing you can do is whatever processes you're following now, you should, like you said, you should question tradition, right? So you can look at them and see how you can improve those processes so that when you follow them the next time, the impact is better or you're more efficient in doing those. So slowly see what you have done, see if it's improving the process, and if it is, then keep doing it. If it's not, then go back and fix it again.
Okay. So does that mean that we should be trying multiple things and see what suits us best and what doesn't?
Yeah, we should do that because we don't know until we try whether something is going to work or not.
Oh yes. Okay. How about others? Shyam san, Pooja san.
Um, so for me, like I work from home, so it's kind of my personal life and work life kind of overlap most of the times. But to apply something like Kaizen to like anything at all, first thing is I'm not sure like how we can actually apply that though. But most of the time, what happens in my case is like the whole week I keep slacking off, and then when the weekend is about to come, I have random spikes of productivity, and I have like code for like maybe 8 to 10 hours straight. Like I want to avoid that and what we say, be more consistent, do less work every day rather than do more work in like couple of days. Like that is my main uh, obstacle, I would say. So any suggestions I would appreciate.
No, that's actually a good idea, I believe, to do small things in one day rather than doing many things in one day, or just doing everything at the end of the week. So that's a good strategy that you are adopting. So how about others? What do others feel?
Shamsan, I think many times it's difficult to just take the first step. So maybe when you say small steps, you can try to make the steps so small that you feel it is easy to do. And slowly these steps can maybe build up and become something bigger. And eventually you'll feel confident in yourself in starting out.
Yeah, that does make sense. Uh, We'll probably try like extremely small steps, I would say.
Okay, to move ahead, let's discuss the principles that we could use in workspace with respect to the philosophy of Kaizen. So, it could mean that if you are currently employed or maybe doing a job, then it could be like attending or organizing more events to a specific topic that you think needs the most improvement in. For instance, I don't know anything about technology, then I would be attending more seminars, more events, or I would organize more events to learn from them about IT, about how to use laptops and computers efficiently, how to use Google Workspace efficiently, and something similar. So I believe that everyone present over here, even if it's a small group, have taken their first step to organize their own lives and maybe to improve themselves both in work or in personal life. So I think we all have taken our first step by attending the event or by organizing the event. What Kaizen focuses next on is to increase our team building strategy. So team building for in Kaizen's philosophy is like a muscle that we develop over time. So it could be breaking them into small steps as Kaizen focuses on small step strategy. So it could be like I would lead a team of 10 people first, then I would, after 3 months or 6 months of experience, I would lead a team of 30 people, then 50, then 100, then 250, and so on. So I would increase my team building capacity, I would increase my own leadership strategy, and I would become a better leader and would make better leaders with my teachings, with the things that I have seen with my experience if someone is working in a company or so. And if we build team strategy, if we are able to successfully increase our team collaboration, then eventually we would be able to build a culture of high engagement. Everyone would be knowing each other's perspective upon a thing, so everyone would be like one small family working on a similar project. So it would be it would build a culture of high engagement in our work life. So, and it focuses, again we discussed this in the intersection of the core principles, that it's to take as many feedbacks as possible. Maybe you are working on Japanese and you want to give a report, that you have written a report in Japanese in Romaji or something, and you want to see how well you have written for the first time. So you would be spreading that report to the groups of people that you know who know Japanese, and you would be taking their suggestions. What should I improve? How would you rate my work? Is it 3 on 7 or 3 on 10? Then how should I make it to 5 on 10? Then how should I make it to 7 on 10? It should not be like, okay, I'm standing on 3 and I would directly want to go to 10 on 10 strategy. So it's like going slowly. Right now I'm on 3 on 10, then I would go 5 on 10, then I would go 7 on 10, and eventually I would write the best of the report that I could. So Kaizen really focuses on that strategy. uh, I would be happy if you have any questions that I could answer.
Everything is clear.
Yeah, same here.
I don't have a question, but I would like to add something if that's fine. Yeah, so a lot of times there are problems or situations that come up which we are not able to understand completely. So, for example, I work at an educational institute where I teach English, and a lot of times students come up with face difficulties while trying to make sentences or words, and I tried to help them in different ways, but I was never able to reach to the root of the problem. And then when I started learning Japanese myself, I faced the similar situation that they were doing and kind of got a better understanding to what the problem was, which helped me implement a better solution for them. So sometimes where there's a problem which we're not able to understand, looking at it from a different perspective might give us like a better idea on how to work on it.
Yeah, I think that's true. We could not understand a situation if we are not able to see ourselves into that situation or put ourselves into their shoes. So it's really necessary for the example that you gave, Puja-san. Any other questions or any other suggestions or any other examples or instances that you could share with us? Okay, so to move ahead, then what steps, what action plan could I take to just right away start with Kaizen? So the first, no, so the zero step is to select the topic of improvement. For instance, I want to improve my public speaking skills. So I have a topic that I have to work on. Then I have to understand as the next step my current situation. Where am I standing currently? I have to rate my own self first. That okay, Japanese people have this saying that to know yourself is to forget your own self. So if I want to see how actually I'm good at public speaking, maybe I could arrange a meet with myself and I could record the meeting, and I could just see how well did I do, what changes could I make, how should I be improving, what should I be improving on. The next step that Kaizen says is to eliminate all the abnormalities. It's to like, okay, I think there is a risk if I do public speaking. What if I misspoke something? What if I get I don't know, I palpitate. What if I start suddenly crying? What if my hands are shaking? What would I do? What would I do? But what Kaizen says to us is not to think of risk and just do it, because if we take off risk, then what we could actually think about is what worst could happen. Maybe everybody would be giving their feedbacks, maybe everybody could be giving their suggestions, but that's something that's encouraging us to work on. So if we take the risk, there is no harm that could happen to us, to our family, to our own personal life. So why can't we give it a shot? Then is to analyze the causes as the fourth step. So no, the third step, I'm sorry. To analyze the causes, that okay, I said previously what worst could happen if I do this. If I spoke at a TEDx and if I'm not able to perform to my best of the level, then what would happen? What would be the consequences if the event didn't go well? So we have to analyze all the causes. We have to first ask, why do we want to give this speech? What is it about? How would this benefit the people? How would I improve? What would it benefit to me? Would it benefit to my own skills? Then is to create one plan of improvement, that okay, I arranged a meet for myself. I saw the recording and I feel that I'm lagging in this points. Then I would just analyze those points and I would see that okay, where I could be improving. This is somewhere that I'm lagging behind, and then I would just implement those improvements, those suggestions that I have for myself. Maybe I would arrange another meet for myself after a day and would check where is my progress. Am I able to eliminate all the improvements that I had previously? And then it's to finally check for the results. Am I doing well this time? Or if not well, then okay, let me arrange one more meet and then again go back to fourth step, then do fifth step and come to the sixth step and do something till then that it is on 10 on 10, and to just get happy that okay, I'm finally able to make it. So it's to consolidate the gains that we have after following the 7 step strategy of Kaizen. Any questions? Anybody?
So I don't have any question though. I have a suggestion that um, like these are 7 or 8 steps, right? So like it's kind of difficult to remember. So I would suggest that you maybe keep a copy in such a way like that you can see them every day, or like any time of the day, but like daily you can see that. That's the only way like that you can keep in mind, or else like it might happen that you would end up forgetting at all. Like you have no idea that you learned something like this a few days back.
Okay.
For me, as Shyam San said, like we have discussed that small steps add up to the big steps. The method of Kaizen is great, and it's not necessary to have a list of steps in your pocket. It's about implementing it in yourself. And if you try to take these small steps with your small steps, like I said in a coding part, that I want to review or I want to do coding every day, and I will apply this small the steps of Kaizen on that process, that small process. Eventually I will get habited in that, and I don't need to remember all that we need to do is to find the situation where we can ask ourselves question that, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to do. About the analyzing part, and every time we ask about suggestion to everyone, that's a analyzing part. We don't need to have like in a pocket a list that, yeah, I didn't event, okay, now I have to personally meet up to the people to check whether I did this or that. It should become within from you instead of having that list. That's what I thought.
I think, like you said, Kaizen is something that maybe we want to internalize or become used, a thought process that we want to become used to following. So maybe at the beginning, this list can be really helpful in making sure that we're not missing any step or catching ourselves and making sure that we are maximizing our chances of success when it comes to following Kaizen. And what I like about these 7 steps is that they're really versatile. So you can apply this to your personal life, to your work life, to all different activities and spheres, and you can really use this to improve the way you do many things and also maybe the way you think about different things.
Yeah.
Okay, so to move ahead, we have tried to suggest few books that could help you get started with Kaizen, and for self improvement. The first two books are both for personal life and work life, and the third book is completely for personal life. The habits that we could transform, how little things could create big changes and big differences into our own lives. So we would be sharing this page and the 7-step strategy in the group for your reference if you would want to read or want to go through this book. And to end the presentation with, I would like to say a quote by Edwards Deming, that it's not enough to just do your best. You must know what you are doing and then you do your best. So I think this quote just completely explains the entire process of Kaizen, the entire philosophy of Kaizen into just one or two lines. So thank you very much for listening and having patience and for making this session so interactive. And we would be happy to answer any questions that you are having, anything, or what we could improve, any feedbacks, any suggestions. Ankit-san, Pooja-san.
Nah, I have already spoken much in the starting, so I don't have any point to add up. But it was nice to learn something other than the Japanese language.
So no questions or suggestions. I would say like it was a great session. Like it was very different from like what I used to do daily, and like have a change for once, and like learn something new that you can use in daily life. Yeah.
Okay, I guess we have time, so I would just give one example that I came across was I myself have very much problem with time management, and I wrote an example for John as well. So what we could do if we use the strategy of Kaizen is not to manage our own time, but we could manage our focus, we could manage our stress level, and then eventually we would be able to work effectively and efficiently, and then eventually we would save time for ourselves, and we could implement the Kaizen philosophy in such a manner that we don't need to just schedule all the day with time limits. Okay, this. Instead, we should be managing our own focus if we are really concerned about how we could implement Kaizen in work in time management. So that was just an example that I came up with.
Kaizen, would you like to add anything about this session?
So the session was really great. I just had a thought. Um, I'm I don't have perspective of my own on this, but like, is it important to have improvement or applying Kaizen to all things that we are doing? Is it fine if I don't want to improve upon something that I'm doing, but I'm just satisfied with what I have?
That's a really great question. What do you think, Kaizen?
I think that we should be willing to. Okay, I could not be googling that what improvements I could be doing in my own life, so it has to be our own that we I want to improve on this. So if you're good at something, you're good at it eventually, so you could just share your learnings with others to maybe hone your own skills, and to teach other people from your experience and from your learning experiences, and you could just analyze where your weaknesses are, and you could work on them instead of your strengths. If I am able to get your question well, then I would answer this.
Uh,
I think I think it's important to know your limits as well. Um, Life is so vast. There's so many aspects of yourself that you learn about every day, so many new aspects. And there are so many things in our life that are always changing, new things we're picking up, old things we are discarding, things that continue throughout our life that we continue to do. Maybe knowing which parts you can't continuously improve. I don't think it's feasible for us to try to improve every single part of our life. There's too much to do for that. But maybe if we can find out a way to prioritize which are the things that we want to devote more time or attention to improving, for
yeah.
those things maybe we can use Kaizen and implement it a little, make the process a little more easy or more reliable.
Yeah, because sometimes I also feel that for every situation, if we always strive for improvement or something further ahead, we might forget to enjoy the ride that we are on, and like forget to experience what we are learning or trying to improve at that moment. So balance between that might be important.
That's actually an interesting point. So you're trying to say that in the um in the quest to improve ourselves, sometimes we forget to have fun or enjoy what we're doing.
Yeah, so for an example, if I'm learning Japanese, so for I'm going to give N4 in this December, and I gave my N5 last December. Uh, if I, the way I'm studying right now, if I want, maybe I might be able to clear my N3 in July and then N2 next December and be done with it. But then that would take the fun out of learning Japanese for me. So hopefully after my N4, I would take 6 months to just, maybe read some mangas and watch animes and just immerse in the culture and then move ahead with the next level to improve, but as well as enjoy what I want something.
Yeah, you're right. Life doesn't always have to be about efficiency, efficiency, efficiency. You shouldn't always have tight deadlines and everything that you want to improve. Like, I need to get better at this so much right away. Like
Yeah.
Kage-san also said, the next step doesn't have to be like from 3 to 10. The next step
Yeah.
can be from 3 to 3.5 or 3 to 4. And
Yeah.
I think it's really valuable that you can recognize this in yourself that for some things maybe I want to improve in the next 6 months, but for some other things it's more my happiness, or the reason that I'm doing it is to be happy, or the reason
Yeah.
that I'm doing something is to enjoy myself. And in that case, maybe improvement isn't the aim, isn't the goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does anybody else have these things that they're happy with the way they're doing and they don't want to improve further on?
Nah, nah. In my case, it's totally different. I just want to improve.
Improve everything.
Yeah, improve everything. Because when you improve, you learn more about it, and you also learn that how you can show or guide someone else. If you are not improved, if you are not good at it, then there is no point of guiding someone else. It would be like you are guiding someone in a dark hole or loophole. So sometimes improving is good, and direct approach or indirect approach, you are always improving. Indirect approach, you are just knowing that yeah, I want to improve, but in indirect approach, you like yeah, in every case you are improving, but you are not knowing that you are improving, but you are improving. There is no such thing as unchanged or unimproved. You are improving everything.
That makes sense. Like, change is the constant sort of situation. Even if we think the rate of improvement might be different, you mean. For some people, if you, for example, if you use Kaizen, then maybe you'll improve at a faster rate and you'll catch your successes and failures faster. But if you don't pay that much attention to it and let yourself go with the flow, then maybe your improvement will be slower